What's up guys, Xpicture here, and today I have a 2016 driver predictions video, and I'm joined by Jason, so we're going to predict the grid for 2016 in Formula 1. Now, we'll start off with really easy ones. Mercedes, it is confirmed, it's going to be Hamilton and Rosberg, no question about it. Now, on to Ferrari, again, confirmed, it's Vettel and Raikkonen, no questions about it. Next, it's Williams, and they're both confirmed. No questions about it. It's Massa and Bottas. Okay, finally, we're on to a team that haven't confirmed both drivers. Red Bull, they have confirmed Ricciardo, but the second driver is not confirmed. Who do you reckon it's going to be?
I think it would be silly for Red Bull to get rid of Kvyat. If we did this 3 months ago, I would have said they would have got rid of Kvyat, but Kvyat's been performing really well.
After he sort of got rid of the nerves of getting put into the big team, he's really been putting in some solid results and really going unnoticed. But yes, that's my prediction as well. I reckon, well, it's going to be Ricciardo, and we both think it's going to be Kvyat as well. Okay, Now on to Force India. Now, Hulkenberg has been confirmed, but the second driver, of course, hasn't. Who do you think it's going to be?
I think, same with Red Bull, it would be silly for them to get rid of Sergio Perez. He's an underrated driver, very strong driver, and he performs under pressure. And he's very good at saving tyres.
Again, he's like Kvyat. He's been going very unnoticed and just constantly putting in good results and doesn't get the credit he deserves for it. So, of course, I am predicting Perez as well. So, it will be Hulkenberg and Perez, we both think. Okay, now on to a very interesting one. Lotus/Renault. First of all, do you think it's going to be Lotus next year or it's going to be Renault?
I think if it's Lotus next year, they will only make it halfway through the season with their current budget issues. So I will have to go with Renault. I think Renault will buy out the team, and it's very sensible for Renault to do that.
Yeah, I think exactly the same. Like, it was lucky that the Lotus cars could even leave Spa. It was lucky for them to turn up in Monza, and then they both got damaged, so they've got to repair that. And now they've got to air freight all the cars to Singapore. They're so cash strapped at the moment. Maldonado's money just isn't enough. So I personally think it's going to be bought out by Renault as well. So if it is, let's go on the basis it is bought out by Renault. No one is confirmed yet. Keep that in mind. Who do you think it's going to be?
Well, I think it will be Romain Grosjean as the first driver. I think he's got relations with Total, which is very close to Renault, and he's French, which means it's a clear-cut decision for Grosjean.
I think exactly the same. I personally think it has to be Grosjean. Another actually really underrated driver, because you got to look back after his crashes in 2012 that we all know about. 2013, I think he got about 6 podiums or something. He's
very strong.
He's a very good driver, and again, it's completely overlooked. And your second driver you were going to pick?
Their Lotus's test driver, Jolyon Palmer. He's a very quick driver. He obviously won GP2 in 2014. Done a lot of test sessions for Lotus. So I think it would be silly for Jolyon not to step up for a full-time seat.
Yeah, I think exactly the same thing. All these predictions have been the same so far. But yeah, I reckon it's going to be Jolyon Palmer. As you said, his ties with the team already. He's proven he's a quick driver. He won GP2 last year in 2014. He's a good driver. He's got ties to the team. In my opinion, it makes perfect sense. Okay, now on to the next team. We've got Toro Rosso. Now both drivers have been confirmed as they signed 2-year deals at the start of this year. So it's going to be Verstappen and Sainz. There's no question about that. Okay, next team, Sauber. Again, it's been confirmed already a month or two ago. Ericsson and Nasser. No questions about that. Now, McLaren. This is where it gets very interesting, where our predictions might start to differ.
McLaren's a case of two really bad cars for 2 great drivers.
Yep. So, Alonso is already confirmed as he did sign a multi-year deal, but Button is not confirmed for next year, and they've got Magnussen and Vandoorne, who all could... There's 3 drivers that could all end up in this seat that are all very good.
I don't think Button will re-sign with McLaren because in a recent interview, I think it was with Sky, he was asked, do you want to sign a new contract? And he sort of dodged the question by saying...
I can't remember what he said.
He said, I'm hoping to get the contract the negotiations out of the way as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's
it
not
sounds
looking good.
defeatist.
It's not looking good.
Yeah.
I would love to see Button stay. I'm a big Button fan, but personally, I don't think it's going to be Button.
Unfortunately not. I'm in Lockie's boat.
My personal prediction for the McLaren number 2 driver next year, I personally think it's going to be Kevin Magnussen. He needs to get a drive. He can't keep sitting on the side. He's too good. They can't just keep wasting years on his career. He needs to be driving something.
Kevin's a very good driver, and I loved him from Australia onwards. Like I loved him in preseason testing in 2014, all the way up until December when he wasn't confirmed for McLaren. I was supporting him. I think he's a brilliant driver and aggressive. Spa 2014. Yeah, how aggressively he held off Alonso.
He's got so much talent, that kid, and I think he really deserves this drive. As I just said, they can't keep wasting years in his career. They need him to be doing something, and they need it to be now.
Exactly.
We think the same thing on that. Okay, now on to Mana Marussia. What do you think?
Stevens will stay.
I agree.
He's doing a
He'll
good
stay.
job. He's doing a good job.
Yep.
Solid job for a struggling team. Hopefully, Marussia get a 2016 car and a 2016 engine in 2016. They're pretty much running 2014 spec everything.
They are still, aren't they? They've still got those Ferrari engines from 2014.
And the only thing they've pretty much changed on this year's car is the front wing, so to comply with regulations. So hopefully they get a 2016 car for 2016. And
Second driver?
Not very well known, but 2013 GP2 champion Fabio Lima. I don't know. He was very annoyed to not get a Lotus drive when Kimi Räikkönen hurt his back at the end of 2013, which of course was given to Heikki Kovalainen. And I've just been hearing snippets that he might be signing with Mana.
Yeah. I don't know, it's a really tricky one, this seat. There's no real linked drivers. There's so much young talent. There's an abundance of young talent out there that could end up in this seat. Now, I haven't really heard much about this. There's nothing... I'm not going on any links. I'm just going on what I would hope for, personally. And my prediction is Stoffel Vandoorne. Now, the reason I think this is if McLaren come to their senses, I think hopefully they'll do what Red Bull did with Daniel Ricciardo and HRT, and keep him driving, keep him doing something, and not waste his talent. Just keep him. You understand what I'm trying to say. Do what Red Bull did with Ricciardo and HRT. Sort of loan him there for a bit, just so he keeps driving, gets a feel for Formula One and all that. And I think Mana, it's possible. And Jason brought up earlier when we were talking about this when we weren't recording. Mana have ties to Ferrari, but I think that can be avoided as long as they have the right terms in the contract.
I've just thought of someone else, someone you brought up before, Sergei Sorokin from GP2, the young Russian.
Yeah.
I think he's Russian.
Yeah, he is.
He is Russian. The reason I think it could be Sergei, he's proven to be a good little driver. I don't think he's good as Alex Lynn, Stoffel Vandoorne, Alexander Rossi.
He's running third in GP2 championship at the moment.
But he's got a lot of money.
He does.
And Mana will want that money.
He was also leading the Saturday GP2 race. Is that the feature race? I can't remember. He was leading that race until I think it was Lynn crashed into him.
Yeah.
So the racing continuing then on the iconic main straight here at Monza. Vandoorne might have set the fastest lap of the race, but he's got Alex Lynn all over him. And Lynn is through, and there might be contact, and it is in a big way. Lynn and Sorokin making contact into the first chicane, and somehow Vandoorne escaped there.
And the Saturday race is the feature race.
Yes, it is. So he was leading that race, and he had he was in with a good shout of winning that race until he got taken out of the race by Lynn, who missed his braking marker by a long way.
Yeah, he was overtaking it.
He was overtaking and lapping, and oh my god, it was an absolute shambles.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I reckon Stevens and Vandoorne. You reckon Stevens and what was his name?
Fabio Lama.
Okay, so now on to the very interesting one. Haas F1. Of course, a new team to Formula 1. This one, it's interesting. Now, no one is confirmed. There's about 10 drivers or so linked.
There's 9 left because Hulkenberg signed for...
Yeah. So, for the first driver, I personally think it's going to be Jean-Eric Vergne. He's a very talented driver. He's got, like, I think 2 or 3 years of experience in Formula 1. He's still only 25, I think. So he's young, with experience, Ferrari backing, which is Haas are associated with, and he's got an abundance of talent. So it seems to make perfect sense to me. So that's what I reckon. The number 1 driver.
I'm going to follow similar lines to you, but I'm not going to say Vergne. I'm going to say Esteban Gutierrez.
That was the other one.
For pretty much the same reasons you have. Linked to Ferrari. He's got multiple years' experience in F1. It was widely believed that he was brought in too early to F1 to Sauber. But the main difference between Gutierrez and Vergne, Gutierrez has a lot of Mexican money behind him. And for Haas, which is a relatively new F1 team, yes, I know they do a lot of America stuff, but I just think they will want some extra money in the bank to help development carry along.
I understand what you're saying, but of course, when we were talking about this, for the first drive, it was going to be Jev or Gutierrez, we reckon. But personally, if I had to choose between Jev or Gutierrez, keeping money out of it for now, just keep that in mind, based on a driver, I would have picked Jev.
I would have picked Jev based on the driver, but
the money
side of it...
It completely changes the conversation.
Because Gutierrez, he wasn't a bad driver. He wasn't
brilliant, though, and...
He didn't...
Multiple times, Jev was in contention for a Red Bull seat, and...
He should have got it in 2014.
I understand not getting it over Ricciardo, because Ricciardo is just so good. And then Personally, I thought he was going to get the seat instead of Kvyat.
He should have. I mean...
He's talented enough. I thought he should have. And I reckon he'll be going, hey, I want to get back into F1. I think he'll be looking for that. If he gets that offer from Haas, he'll accept it. And he hasn't run the full Formula E season, has he?
No, he didn't run.
He did, from what I can't remember, don't quote me on this, but he did very well in the 3 races he ran or something.
I think he won a race.
He definitely won one. I think he might have got taken out in another one. I can't remember. I haven't watched Formula E very much this year, so I'm not 100% sure on this stuff.
9 races.
Exactly. I'm not sure on this stuff, okay?
He started 9 races, 3 poles and 1 win.
That's a good record. He didn't do the entire season. Anyway, so I reckon Jev, you reckon Gutierrez. We've explained that. Now, on to the next driver.
Rossi.
We both think Alexander Rossi. Again, a very, very talented young driver who is currently running in GP2 at the moment. Of course, he is American, and Haas is an American team, so there is some connections there. And he's a very good driver. He's currently running second in GP2 behind Stoffel Vandoorne at the moment.
He's been the only real challenger to Stoffel as well this year.
When you say challenger, you do realise he's still 108 points off him?
No, I mean in the races. Not in the championship, in the races.
Yeah, he has been. Don't get me wrong. And he's, he's like 40 points or 38 points ahead of third, which is Sergei Sorokin at the moment.
Yeah.
So he's definitely... I've been watching GP2 a lot this year. He's a really good driver. He's the right nationality, sort of.
Americans are very patriotic. We know this.
But I think they'll be looking at him. I think he's definitely in for a shout at that seat. I reckon he would. I'm predicting he'll get the seat. That's what this video is about. So yes, I'm predicting Alexander Rossi will get that seat. He's a very, very good driver.
So who
Not
do you
much to say
think
about him.
is going to be the lineup?
Ooh, okay,
Rossi and Verne for you?
yes, Rossi and Verne.
I think it'll be Rossi and Gutierrez. I don't want Gutierrez, but I think that's what will happen.
Take a guess. Red Bull engines next year.
Red Bull, Ferrari.
Okay, I personally think it will be Red Bull, Ferrari. Mercedes off the cards. Honda's off the cards. Renault, they cancelled all the contract and it's too late to bring anyone else in. So I think it's going to be Red Bull, Ferrari next year. That's my prediction. So have you got your list of predictions right there? Quickly run through them.
Yep.
Mercedes, Hamilton, Rosberg.
Yep.
Ferrari, Vettel, Raikkonen.
Yep.
Williams, Massa, Bottas.
Yep.
Red Bull, Ricciardo, Kvyat.
Yep.
Force India, Hulkenberg, Perez.
Yep.
Lotus / Renault, probably Renault, I think. Grosjean, Julian Palmer.
Yep.
Toro Rosso, Verstappen, Sainz.
Yep.
Sauber, Ericsson, Nasser.
Yeah.
McLaren, Alonso, Magnussen.
Yeah.
Manor, Stevens, Vandoorne.
Stevens, Fabio Lima.
Haas, John Eric Verne, and Alexander Rossi.
Haas for me is Rossi and Gutierrez.
Okay, they are our driver predictions for next year. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a like, rating, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.